What is up? It is the Dynasty Lunch Hour here in your lunch hour, coming in at your lunch hour. If not, this is your senior dinner. We are here just talking about the big game, Bengals Rams. We didn't get discussed about it yesterday. We just really dove into Senior Bowl, which is kind of like what we're kind of like focusing on recently. So, there's a lot to handle when it comes to both of these teams. Like, obviously both teams want it. But how do you think, or how do you feel about, like, obviously you're picking Rams, but you feel like you want Bengals, right? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I don't know. Usually when it comes to the Super Bowl and my team's not in it, I usually like, underdog is usually who I root for, which I think is the Bengals. But that being said, I think since preseason, I said the Rams are going to win it. So I was like, well, they got this far, so I might as well keep going.
Stick to your guns, right? Yeah. I remember it was because you said the Rams, and I'm like, all right, well, we'll see what happens, and here they are. But I thought you wanted the Bengals to win, but you're gonna stick with your guns and say Rams, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
So, I want the Rams to win. They are here. They made it there. They're at their own home, I should say. It's the second team that's done this before. Tampa Bay did it last year. Yeah, in a row. Yeah.
Never happened in 2 years in a row.
No. So they have home field advantage. A lot to take into consideration here. The Rams made a lot of free agency moves last year. They also made a lot of trades during the season.
Yeah.
And then that's I feel like it's now or nothing. Now, I'm pretty sure that they're aware that after this game, they might be royally screwed for the next couple seasons. Would it all be worth it? I feel like yes.
Yeah, if they win, it definitely would be.
We could potentially see Stafford and Von Miller decide, well, it was good, and they're out. Like, Stafford's not like, I could still see him play another 2-3 seasons, but I mean, if he really wants to, he's old enough to get out. Like, he's what, 36?
34.
34? I mean, not too bad. I just feel like he's in that mode where, like, he could play another, like I said, two seasons at least solid. But what are the Rams really going to have after that?
Well, if they keep the core together, which I believe, at least for next year, most of the people are under contract still. I mean, I think they'll be just as good next year.
I feel like, I don't know. I don't know if maybe we'll lose. There's got to be. I'm gonna look at their contracts right now, but I think that there might be a few people out the door. But let's see. Obviously, Matthew Stafford has probably that biggest contract of 5 years, right?
Yeah, I think he still has a few years left. Yeah.
So 5 years. Aaron Donald's got 6 years. The term. So maybe you are right. Maybe they got nothing. If anybody's left, is probably going to go out the door. Big names right here would.
Well, no, Ramsey signed for another 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. Tyler Higbee's there for another 4 years. Woodworth's 3, I guess, is on his contract. Oh, but they just got him through free agency.
But he's also 40, so I mean, there's no sense telling if he's coming.
Oh, back. I think he's done. I think he's. I think Whitworth is done. It's funny. So I was watching NFL Network, and they were saying that Whitworth had basically almost identical same injury to Joe Burrow.
Yeah. I was gonna say I was asking if you heard about that story. It's pretty cool.
It is a cool story. So we all know what happened to Joe Burrow last season. You know, he went out, had anything that had a CL in his leg was torn or broken or whatever. Whitworth basically went through the same thing. They both went to LA facilities and basically they hung out all off season. They
Well, I guess
actually
what. So what
go ahead.
happened was so he went to California because that's where the doctor was. Wentworth was also there. I guess when Joe Burrow was talking to the doctor, he was like a little apprehensive because he didn't know anybody. He's not from that area. He doesn't know anybody. So I guess like the next day, the doctor saw Whitworth and was like, "Hey, I think you should meet this Burrow kid and hang out with him because he doesn't know anybody, and I think you'll really like him." So I guess Wentworth extended the invitation, and then they were like inseparable after that.
Yeah, and
Watching
it's
football
crazy.
games every Sunday. They spent their birthdays together.
They did. Basically they hung out. And it's crazy Whitworth came from the Bengals. Never played with him as teammates, but he's very familiar with the area. And so, basically taking the rookie under his arms and hanging out with him. They actually watched the NFL draft together.
Wow.
Yeah, so they watched the draft together, so they became really good friends and, basically recovered together. And who would have thought that, 9 months later that they would be in the big game together? Like, it's crazy. So it's really cool that both Bengals, all right, not formal Bengal, but potentially his whole career was there. So I'd say a good chunk of it. So I would still consider him a Bengal if he wins this and retires and maybe signs another day contract. I don't know. But it's just really cool to hear that story. And Andrew Whitworth and Joe Burrow, it's really cool. So I'm glad you heard about that story too, because
yeah, I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah. So, other than all that, it's really cool that, the stories behind both these teams. Stafford has his own story too. From the years of brutality being in Detroit, it seemed like nothing went right with them while he was there. He had Megatron there, and it was just still nothing. Like there was nothing that held. Like there wasn't glue that stuck the team together. It seemed like once their contract was up, the player was out. Yeah, and that's how it seems with the Lions. Like, and it's really hard with these guys. Like sometimes you just have to stay put and mold there, and it's really difficult for the Lions to do that. But I think we're coming to see a change here soon with Dan Campbell being there. I think he's going to change it. I hope they keep him there for a while. I think he's the perfect type of character that needs to be there.
Well, we talked about it earlier. They were like, what, 6 plays away from having like a winning record?
Yeah.
Like
so
they were in games all year. So
every like I almost won a couple $100 off of them, and it was just stupid field goals that basically like denied me. I think my biggest chunk of winnings would have been the Detroit Vikings game.
I was gonna say, yeah, that was. I remember that.
That was the game.
You were like freaking out when they went for 2. You were like, yeah.
I literally ran around the house. I ran downstairs, and I was like, "Oh, the Detroit Lions
gotta hold them for 30 seconds. We got this." No,
34 seconds. What it was. I'll never forget that. I ran downstairs. Everyone's like, "What the hell's going on?" I'm like, "I'm about to win a big chunk of money of the freaking Lions." I go back upstairs. I'm watching it, and I'm like, "All right, 34 seconds. The Lions, they got this. Kirk Cousins isn't gonna drive it downfield. Like, no way." Yeah, boy, was I wrong. I can't remember if it was Alexander Madison who just basically they ran it through the whole thing and then kicked the field goal. So I was like, well, that really sucks. I was laying on the ground. Like I literally lost. I could have had potentially a couple $100, but man, it is what it is. But I'm looking at this game, and
What do you think of the
a lot
storyline between the two quarterbacks?
between Stafford and Joe Burrow.
So they're both number one overall picks.
Right.
Burrow's the quickest number one overall pick to reach the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Matthew Stafford's took the longest to get to the Super Bowl as a number one overall pick.
Yeah. This is
I was
why
like,
kind
that's
of
crazy.
this is why I want Stafford to get it.
No,
Because I
agree.
feel like if Stafford gets it, he at least has one in the books, right? Joe Burrow has at least 10, 15 years. Well, maybe not 15, but at least 10 years to try and get there again.
You say
Maybe
that, but
15.
I mean, take
I
Dan
know it's hard.
Marino as an example, who
I
his
know.
rookie year he got to the Super Bowl, and they were like, "Oh, he's going to
What's
be
up,
in
Tank?
so many. He's going to be in so many more Super Bowls." Never made it back to a single Super Bowl,
That's true, but
and he still had a Hall of Fame career. He still slung the ball like nobody else before him. But it was just like it's just one of those things where it's like it's
but
not
the
guaranteed.
Bengals are so young, though. I think they could still make it again.
Well, I think they could too, but I mean, they're gonna have to battle through the Bills, who I think are only going to get better. The Chiefs, who are
True.
always going to be there.
True. Now you bring up the Chiefs, man. I want to talk about their future. So I'm noticing that the last 2 years, Eric Bieniemy has kind of been this high prospected guy, that could potentially be a head coach somewhere, blah blah blah. And we see all these hiring coaches, and he's still there, which only means that it probably would have helped out the NFL if had he been a head coach somewhere else, because of this whole racial thing. But the thing is, I think what Eric Bieniemy's doing is he's staying in Kansas City and kind of waiting out his turn. Because do we really see Andy Reid continue doing this? Like, didn't he have like a heart attack or a stroke or something last season or something?
No, he had a medical situation, but
Yeah, but it was in the middle of the game, was it not?
No, it was right at the end. So like the
Wow.
game ended and he got taken to an ambulance to the hospital.
Oh, geez. Well, I mean, still. Yeah. So Tank says Joe 2 years versus Matt's 13 years. Yeah, definitely. And both third times in the Super Bowl. So I don't like people are gonna say, oh, he's not playoff ready. Well, neither of these guys are. So it's gonna be very interesting.
It's funny you mentioned Andy Reid because I just watched a video of Patrick Mahomes from the Pro Bowl talking to Max Crosby of all people.
Mm-hmm.
And Max Crosby asked Pat what kind of coach he was. He's like, is he chill? Is he cool? Like, is he laid back? And he goes, he's like that cool uncle that like he's kind of chill and laid back and you like hanging out with him, but you hate the last thing on earth you want to do is disappoint because he'll be super pissed at you if you disappoint him. I was like, oh my God, I could totally see that being Andy Reid. That's like exactly how I see Andy Reid, I think.
The level of respect, though, that's pretty cool, man. Andy Reid has been blessed with a really good team there. With Tyreek Hill, Kelsey, and Mahomes. Like that's those three pieces alone are the face.
But he did a good job before Mahomes got there too.
No, I know, but I mean now he has unique weapons. Like when he was with Philadelphia, he was a great coach there too. We would see plays that only Michael Vick can pull off, only that Donovan McNabb can pull off because they're of their special abilities, and that's what I like about Andy Reid. Andy Reid takes his players' abilities and molds his playbook. He doesn't just stick to like his playbook. Like some coaches, they go to a different team and then now we see how they transition. I can't think of any, like I know I'll probably remember this after the show, but a few coaches have moved around and now I believe that it's going to be better for them. I was thinking about this earlier today too while I was driving, and I couldn't remember. It had to do with the Giants, maybe the Dolphins, I think. Mark Daniels, where did he come from? 49ers, right? Yes.
Oh, Matt
Daniels,
the guy that the Dolphins just hired.
Yeah. So do we
He
see?
came from
Do we
the
see?
49ers. He's the one who had
So,
the Jones joke that everyone loved.
what's that?
He was doing a press conference and someone asked him a question and he was like, "What?"
No, I didn't see that. I didn't see that.
He was
I'll
all
have
like,
to look
"Matt
it up.
Jones," and everyone just started laughing. It was pretty funny.
No, I didn't see it. I'll have to look it up. But I know that he's excited to go to Miami. So I've there was like a recording somewhere of him interviewing or
Mike
calling.
Daniel, that's his name.
That's what his. Let me see if I can find it.
Oh, that's what he said. He said Mike Jones. He's like, Mike Jones. Everyone was like, "What?"
Yeah, no, it was
Two McDaniels got hired in the same offseason. That's crazy.
No, but they were saying,
Raiders.
Yeah, that one's an interesting too. That one's very interesting to me.
That's the one I mind. I was like, I thought maybe Josh was tired of waiting. I thought for sure he was going to be like the guy who replaces Bill Belichick. I really did.
Yeah. No, and I'm thinking I was waiting for all this like to kind of happen, like who would move where, right? That one surprised me. Now this is going to definitely change the way the Raiders are going to play, but back to the like what I was saying, the Dolphins. Like I think that yeah, thank you, Breeden. Of course, always there for us, man. I think that we might see more Gaskin. Because if the way the Niners ran, like this is what I'm saying, like the difference between Andy Reid and your typical coach. Like if you see other coaches, you can see their philosophy, the way they change things and the way they run it. Andy Reid doesn't do that. So he molds his playbook according to his players, which most coaches do. And I'm not saying I'm an expert and I see this, but you can tell throughout the season, you can see the way these players change. It like for instance, my greatest example, and I throw this in your face a couple times already, and I'm sorry, Mark, but it's true. I did not like Dan Quinn as a head coach, but when he went to Dallas and became the defensive coordinator, I went balls to the walls and said Micah Parsons, is going to be one of the greatest linebackers that he's going to be able to work with, because look at Deion Jones. He made him what he is today. Mm-hmm. And Parsons is going to be the next, generational talent because of the way Dan Quinn is, and that's what I'm saying. Like certain coaches don't change, but they do. They change only a little bit, but they keep to their same philosophy because they know that's what's working for them, but not Andy Reid. And we've seen this. Like, that's just my take on Andy Reid, and I've noticed the way he handles, like growing up with watching what he did in Philly, and then what he's doing here in Kansas City. But I mean, that's just my take.
I feel like Andy Reid doesn't need to change because, like, from every team I've seen him coach, his players absolutely love him.
No, that's what I'm saying, and I think that's why. Like, because he molds it around them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And that's what makes him really great. And for them to surprisingly lose to the Bengals is just shocking. But,
the Bengals made second half adjustments and the Chiefs did not. So,
well, yeah. I mean, I guess they wanted it more. But I should have showed you this. And I actually did have a Gridiron Heights, and I had to do a lot about the Washington Commanders, and I didn't know if you wanted to watch it or not. Let's... But it was it had to do with
demonetized though. We'll get demonetized probably.
I don't know. The last couple of times we've done it on that, but I mean we could wait.
Oh, we can put it on. I always like laughing at my own team, so.
We don't really make much anyways.
Hey, there was some breaking news about my team today.
What's that?
Someone with inside knowledge said that Russell Wilson would not veto a trade to Washington.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mark. I'm sorry.
I was like, what?
I didn't see that it was going to happen anyways, but
they said 2 of the 3 hurdles have been covered or have been broken through. They said Russell Wilson said he would not veto a trade, and that Washington is willing to go all in on him. They said the only one that they don't know is if Seattle would be willing to trade him. That's the only thing.
I don't know. There's just go ahead.
You know where his house is? His house is in Virginia.
Who? Freaking
Russell
no,
Wilson.
Yeah. Russell, yeah.
Yeah. He lives in Virginia in the off season. So I was like, oh, that's right. And that's where the stadium might move. Guess they're looking at a plot in Virginia for the new stadium.
Maybe, but then, look, these guys have off-season homes, like you said. These guys have potential other homes, like vacational homes.
No,
like when people were like freaking out about Aaron Rodgers and his house over at Tennessee. Like, oh, he's gonna be a Titan. I'm like, no, just because they like you look at Aaron Rodgers, he's a hunter, likes to go out in the woods and does what he does. Tennessee's perfect for that, open woods and crap up north in the state. So, but I don't know. It's very interesting to me to see that both these teams, like I said, they have incredible stories coming from both sides of the game. And I love Andrew Whitworth and freaking Joe Burrows. Like it's pretty cool. And especially, how old is Whitworth? Like 40?
Yeah, he just turned 40, I think.
He's still playing the game right now. Like that's
not just playing, but still playing at a fairly high level too.
That's insane.
You can be a starting left tackle.
I can't imagine any other lineman that's probably close to 34 at all. I mean, Cameron Hayward is 32, 33, but he's also defensive lineman.
Yeah, that's a defensive lineman.
And he's still playing pretty good too. But I can't name a few linemen that are past what supposedly their prime is and still playing at a fairly good, decent level. So you're right. So let's watch this. It's pretty funny, I think. But it's over your Washington Commanders. So let's see what this one's about. I didn't watch the whole thing, so if it gets stupid, I'll just turn it off. But here we go. Let me know if you can hear it.
In this postseason. Oh, no. Something stinks at the Washington football team. Hurry, stop the leaks.
Oh, Mr. Stato, watch the ground toxic waste.
I am suing you for raising your voice. Look, your dump is too toxic.
You're right. You need to make serious changes. For real.
Introducing the Commander Hog Trash Ballot.
Oink, oink, news, fail, trash it, now it's due. Go, Commander Hog Trash Ballot!
The big star cheerleaders are all male because women won't come near us.
So it's still a dump. No one will fall.
Whoa, look at these unis. Okay, but did you actually clean the inside of the dump?
Based on the parts of the dump I was shown. Kind of.
Can't criticize us because we honored Sean Taylor with a commemorative trash compactor. Please buy merch.
That's
Riders, $100 to park in the trash ballot.
Of course, sorry, Dan.
It's Kingston.
Oh,
We're also the first garbage dump to honor the troops.
I'm President Joe Biden, and this is what will unite us.
Wait, I think the dump is falling apart.
Oh, look. Bingo.
There's only one thing to do. Build them a dump in Northern Virginia.
Yep, there it is. Jason Peters was also 40 this year.
Yeah.
Go, Brady.
Thanks, Braden. It's
You know how much the Bears loved him.
yeah. I still gotta make that freaking thing where Marvin at the beginning of the season was I kept making fun of him. I think you were watching that same episode where he said, his exact words were like, I need all the Peters of Jason's Peters, like something like that. And I kept like, and I wrote in the comments, I'm like, you heard it right there. He wants all the Peters. It was Marvin said, he wanted every inch of Jason Peters at his level. And then I wrote in the comments, I'm like, you heard it. He wants every inch of Peter. And I still haven't letting it go. And and everyone, even Brian, who we had on the show yesterday, was like looking at him like, did he just say that? Yeah, I have to go back and I'll probably make a clip of it or something. Yeah, Tank remembers that. So but yeah, man. So it's like I said, talking about this weekend, it's gonna be really crazy. I like it because it's not the Chiefs and it's not Brady. Like, I understand, like, okay, it's cool, you know, top 10. It's something new. Yeah, we saw the Rams here a couple years ago, but it's not the same. It's a different type of team. You know, it's not the same team that played the Patriots or whatever.
Well, I was gonna say, I also don't think that, like, I don't think they're bad. Like, I think they're a decent group, but I don't think the Bengals defense is going to be the same as that Patriots defense that they faced.
No, definitely not. I love Logan Wilson. He's a really good linebacker. A lot of people don't know who he is, but I think he's going to be one of the great linebackers that's going to play the game for the next handful of years. And if you don't know him, then you will know him this weekend and from here on out. I think he'll probably put a big play or two on the offense of the Rams somehow, some way. But regardless of the fact, and we've been saying it, like, even though they got sacked 9 times against the Titans, I still think that somehow, some way, Joe Burrow is just so cool and calm and collected back there.
Yeah.
That I think he's like, if they get to him 12 times, okay, he's still somehow gonna manage to pull it off. I don't know how, but I mean, I don't think they'll win, but there is that possibility.
Just imagine how much better they'd be, though,
if they had a line
wasn't on his butt like every other play.
Oh God, yeah, I know.
Dude,
and you know what I really hope that they do? Right. I really hope that this offseason they take that line build a little bit more serious. Obviously, they went after their guy. They had to. They went after what Joe Burrow wanted was another offensive weapon. They got him that. I really think that their first 2 picks are going to be offensive linemen.
Do you think that's something people will do going forward? You know how the NFL is a copycat league? I know we kind of did it when we had Dewey Haskins, and then we also brought in McLaurin. But do you think a lot of people might sit there and go, well, they had a really good rapport in college?
The Eagles tried to do it too.
Well, the Eagles did do it with Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith.
And the Dolphins also did it too.
With Tua and
I think it's the thing. The thing is, here's what this limits. This is what people don't think about. Besides, what you're bringing in is people. Oh, geez, what is this? If Joey B is on his butt all game, then Mixon, Chase, Higgins will need a ton of yards to win. Yeah, the yak attack.
When I brought it up, I knew Brandon was going to say that.
What? I wish the Cardinals would have done it with CD.
Because him and Kyler Murray played at Oklahoma.
No, they should have. But that's those 3 teams thought of something, okay? And a lot of people aren't realizing this. So it takes time for receivers and quarterbacks to build this chemistry connection. Now there are a few outliers: Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, Cooper Kupp, Matthew Stafford. You know, it's not likely that a new quarterback comes to the organization or a new receiver comes to the organization and they just click right off the bat. It's rare. Do they make big plays? Yeah, but the connection that they have with their brand new receivers or brand new quarterbacks, it's not likely. But here you have, like, I'm gonna quote freaking Collinsworth. Here's a guy, okay,
Here's
that
a guy.
yeah, here's a guy where they've been in together for how many years? At least a minimum of 2, right? So, which means if this would potentially be their 3rd year together, they already know that chemistry. Joe Burrow knows where his speed's at. Like, he doesn't necessarily he can read the defense and know where to throw it, and he'll know that he'll get there. Same goes for Jamar Chase. He knows how strong his arm is. He knows this. And that's what a lot of NFL teams don't see, that it takes time. Of course, sometimes the draft is like, you're going to get the best available. Of course you're going to get. If you're going to get the top tiered receiver, you're going to get a top tier receiver, regardless of the fact. Lucky for them, they had what, 2nd pick, 3rd pick last season? 3rd, right? Behind Lions and Jets. So
no, they had the 5th pick.
Was it 5th?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they were up there. They were
third was Lance.
You're right. And that was the Niners.
Yeah.
So you're right. But I think that's what they had. I didn't, and then I think I saw them talking to Joey Burrow about did they think they were going to make the Super Bowl, and he's like, no, absolutely not. He goes, I knew it was probably going to take some time. We all thought this too, that it was probably going to take another 2 or 3 years. They're now ahead of that time. They're already at the show. They're 2-3 years ahead of planning schedule, which means that they're going to be great. Because
we'll see next year if they can handle expectations.
Well, let's hope they don't pull a Washington and do what they needed to do. I'm sorry, but I had high expectations for Washington, and they failed me big time.
Sure
so, I'm sorry, but that's the greatest example I have. Like, I really thought that Washington.
I can't argue with it. So,
but so with that said, it's like it's crazy what we're gonna see and what we're gonna expect. But tonight we have the NFL honors. I think I'm gonna be watching that tonight. I think it'd be something cool to watch.
It's all the awards, right? And then
yeah. So defensive and offensive player awards, offensive players. I was actually all that good stuff. Actually, I was so I follow Micah Parsons on Instagram, and he's there, and I guess he's having a hot pizza contest or something chili. I think it was wings or something. And he's running around, and his first contestant was Josh Allen. And Josh Allen, he's like, all right, here's the spicy whatever. Josh Allen ate that up. He goes, all right, well that totally failed. He goes, all right, let's go see our next victim, because he totally crushed it and didn't even phase him. And Josh Allen, he's like a chipmunk, just smiling, like, hey, yeah. Yeah, no, it was pretty funny. So they're having a good time, man. It's like a big party over there right now. So, which only means that, definitely, I think Micah Parsons is going to definitely potentially get one of those awards. I've been saying it since the beginning. He's definitely going to get rookie defensive player of the year. I don't know about rookie and defensive, but definitely rookie defensive player there.
TJ's got that locked up this year.
Yeah, but it would have been kind of cool to see.
Although I don't know, I keep hearing people saying Aaron Donald could win it again. I'm like,
God, why?
Because
they didn't deserve it last year.
Because I guess he plays. I know he moves around. He doesn't always play, but I guess he plays the majority of his snaps as a defensive tackle, like against the guards. And they're saying it's impressive that a defensive tackle has 12.5 sacks. Like, that's not numbers you really see from a defensive tackle.
I guess.
But I'm like, Jonathan Allen had like 10 sacks. So
yeah, well,
by that standards, he should be nominated.
I don't know. I think it's kind of. I think what they should do is break it down more into their positions rather than as a whole. I don't know, but that's just, I guess it defies the fact that he is the defensive player. I don't know. I feel like maybe defensive tackle Oh, I don't know. I mean,
I
that
kind
could
of agree with
probably-
that, especially on the offensive side, because I feel like the linemen never get any love.
Well, it's just
Like
it's
there's
hard.
there's two offensive linemen I think who legitimately have a case to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. Slater from the Chargers, and then
Okay.
the center from the Chiefs.
Okay, all right. I was like, are you gonna name them? Because I don't know who they are. Like, that's a big pause.
No, they both were playing at a all-pro
No,
level.
I know, but you mentioned them and then you just pause. I'm like, okay.
They just both played at an all-pro level, and it's like I don't know. I just feel like the offensive linemen never get any love.
No, they don't. Offensive linemen don't at all. Like for anything, to be honest. Like they're not even like relevant to any type of coolness at all. Like,
But they
Unless-
totally should though, because like we were saying earlier, like if the Bengals had even like a top 15 offensive line, they'd be freaking dangerous.
yeah, they would.
Like
Yeah,
it'd be nuts.
I mean, I guess it's cool that they get their pancakes and stuff, but why not at these awards give them like
Just because they're big guys, they get to eat pig. No, I'm just kidding.
no?
I know
No.
you're talking. I was just messing.
They should make an odd, like if they broke it down by position, why not make a new like award and it's like a stack of pancakes on the award and to the old line? Wouldn't that be cool as hell?
I think it'd be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, but it sucks because we all see it. Like if you know anything about football, you watch the O line and you pay attention to the O line. If you don't, you can always tell the people that don't really pay attention much to football because they blame the quarterback. That's their first go-to.
Yeah.
And our argument for those who do watch, it's like, no, dude, it's the line's fault. Because if the line is that great, then the quarterback's not that great. So, and there you go. Sponsored by IHOP. I like it, dude. Why not?
Let's do it. Let's get this started.
Let's put this hashtag somewhere and get it started and give the O-line some love like at these awards tonight. Like I think that'd be the coolest award to get as an O-lineman, like just a giant trophy with their name on it and the plaque, and then just a stack of pancakes and maybe two linemen and one of them shoving the other one on its ass. I don't know. So whatever.
I agree.
I mean, I guess I get creative with trophies if I were to give one out. Obviously, here's my example. But that's just the one I'm just saying. If I were to give out lineman one, I'd have a stack of pancakes. But anyways, all right. So,
So you doing any crazy bets for the Super Bowl?
I am, and I was just about to get there.
Read your mind, man. Read your mind.
Hey, man, you know it.
I've gone to
it's
Vegas for the Super Bowl, and they gave you a freaking book like this thick on everything you can bet during the Super Bowl.
Some of this stuff is crazy, man. It is
Like
some
safeties,
crazy...
overtime. Will this person get a touchdown? Will they not get a touchdown? Like, how many yards will Stafford throw? How many yards? Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, it is. I know that there's a couple. I mean, let's put it this way. I will definitely be doing the flash draft every quarter. That I love doing. Like every quarter I'll be drafting guys,
Yeah.
But some of these, I mean, the spread right now is both basically even, except for the money line. -200 and plus -200 to the Rams and plus 170 to the Bengals. But other than that, the over/under, the spread, and the total is exactly the same. But I mean, it's kind of like what it is anyway. So, I know there's one. I was looking at something. It was one for the Bengals and one for the Rams. The Bengals was Bengals money line. Jamar Chase scored touchdown. Joe Burrow 260 plus yards. And then I guess the Rams had something like Odell Beckham Jr. a touchdown score with Matthew Stafford, 290 or over. I think I'm going to bet on a couple of these, maybe the first touchdown, something like that. Who do you think the first touchdown would be to?
Oh, I mean, I think that boils down to, like, for me, who gets the ball first.
I think it's going to be an oddball situation, and I'm going to say Van Jefferson.
I mean, I could see that, especially if the defense is so focused on Cooper Kupp and Odell, and you just have Speeder Jefferson, like,
I think Van Jefferson's going
go
to be
route
the
on
first
slot.
touchdown. You're welcome, everybody. I don't know. Don't do it. I mean, if you could put $1 on it, I mean, I'm pretty sure.
I mean, I could
turn
see
into
it.
$5 or $6. I don't know. But I think I'm going to do that one. Something.
Or
like
should we
that,
go
first
real
touchdown.
crazy and be like Mixon? I think it could be Mixon too.
I think yeah.
I think the Rams could be so focused on stopping the pass that they were like, "Oh yeah, they have a running back too."
Yeah. I don't know.
Oh,
I'm a little worried about the
there you
run
go.
game.
Braden says, "Bet on the opening not being a touchback."
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. God, you know how much
Right.
money you would win?
I remember when I was in Vegas, dude. I bet that this was like a Super Bowl. It was the Patriots. I think it was the Patriots and the Seahawks.
Mm-hmm.
And I bet that Brandon LaFell would get a touchdown. Edelman would get a touchdown.
LaFell, Jesus.
Yeah. I bet that the Patriots would win. I don't know. I bet like 5 bets, and I got them all. I think I bet that there'd be a safety, and there was a safety.
Mm-hmm.
Like LaFell got, I don't know. I just remember like every time, like I remember LaFell caught that touchdown in the corner, and I was like jumping up and down, like LaFell.
You know, it
We were in
sucks
this
because
big like conference room with like big screen TV projectors everywhere. Beer was just flowing. It's pretty fun.
See, back then it was you had to go travel there.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
now we're Arizona finally opened up this season. We finally have that opportunity to just do it from our phones. I wish that the year the Giants beat the Patriots that year, everyone was on the Patriots. You know, I was like, I don't know, man. I have a really strong feeling, and I don't know if I told you this or not.
Which one, 7 or 11?
The 7.
When
I'm
they
pretty
were
sure I
undefeated?
told. Yeah, I think I told you or something, but I was like, I really think that the Giants can pull it off. And I was like, I'm just gonna drive to Vegas and throw like $100 on them. And I was like, yeah, but I don't know. Something prevented me from going, and I didn't go. And like, I probably would have put in like almost $250 because I mean, there's no way I'm gonna drive over there. Maybe 11 actually. I think it was 11.
You were only 19 in 2007.
No, I think it was 11.
Okay, I was gonna say. I was like, wait a minute.
No, that makes sense.
Let's dial this back a second.
No, actually, in 2007,
Born in 88, weren't you?
I was younger than 19. I think I was 17 or 18.
Oh yeah, you would have been 18 because obviously
Something like that. I don't think I was 19. Yeah.
Yeah, you were 18.
Yeah. So
yeah, I had to be 2011.
I think it was 11. I think it was probably that first time where I was able to actually. So yeah, it had to been 11. But I remember telling you or someone, and I'm pretty sure it was you, saying I'm just going to drive Vegas and throw like a crap ton of money on the Giants.
I think I do remember that because you were talking to me about like, do any of the casinos in Arizona have sports books?
Yeah,
and I was like, no.
Yeah, and I'm like, well, I can't freaking drive. I'm like, I think I said, let's drive up there 4 hours, throw a crap ton of money on the Giants, and then drive back tired as hell. It'll be worth it when they win. And obviously we didn't do it because, well, shit, that sucks. But imagine how much money like you could win. Like if we had what we had now, like there's people that I've witnessed win thousands of dollars, and they were sitting right next to me because they were betting online.
Well, there's that one guy that like every year that's $1 million on the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, of course.
It must be nice to have $1 million, but
I think I'm gonna throw a hefty amount on this game. They're pretty even. So, I
Are you
think
gonna
I'm
do
gonna
any of
throw
the
some.
side bets? Or are you just gonna be like do your draft things on the quarters and then
Well, I'm gonna do the draft things on the quarters as well, but I think I'm gonna throw a little bit more on like the money lines and maybe potentially. I already have a couple parlays. I think I have like 9 parlays going.
oh nice.
Yes. It's they're all likelihood
That's the
like
one
they're like
regret I have about that one Super Bowl is like I should have taken my 5 bets and done like a parlay with them, and I would have won
you
even
would've-
more money.
I don't think I'd be talking to you right now.
Yeah, I'd
You'd be
like,
somewhere
"Oh."
in Malibu or something. Freaking yeah. Sorry, goodbye, Martin. It's good being friends with you. I'm gonna go make newer, richer, cooler friends now.
Right.
No, it's I remember a couple of them. It was like 2 or 3 receptions for Joe Mixon, 50 yards or more for Cooper Cup, a touchdown, 2 touchdowns for both quarterbacks, and they were just like easy ones. So I'm like, all right, well, I'll put a couple more, and I think it was like $5. If they all hit, I think it turns out to be like $170, which I'll probably end up doing more as the week gets progresses closer to there's going to be more opt-ins to these boosts. So, yeah, I'm gonna put a good chunk on something. So, if I'm not here next week, it's probably because I'm doing something cooler. I don't know. But yeah, so Tank says bet on the order of all the guests coming out for the halftime show. Dre for yes. I think it's gonna be Eminem. I think
What?
Eminem's gonna open it.
Well, you can bet on who's going to be the first one out for the halftime show.
Mm-hmm. I think it's gonna be Eminem.
That's funny. Do you see
Now-
all the memes about that?
No.
They were like, "Oh, PDA or PSA public service announcement. Just so you guys know, there is a football game surrounding the Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, Eminem concert."
I hate that one. Isn't that what they do every year? Like,
So
like all the
stupid.
idiots. I remember, like all the idiots started out
look.
with
He just
that
said
one. That one right there. Wait, there's a game at the yes.
it. Yeah, I was like, "Oh, he already said it."
I hate that one so much. Oh, I went to the Prince concert and I didn't know there was a game.
Right.
Get out of here. Shut up.
I was trying to figure out why the Prince concert was so expensive.
Pay $4,000 for get out of here.
Right.
Yeah, no. But I think what makes me more mad is the people like, I don't watch football. I only watch the halftime show.
You know what
then
else kinda irritates
can you
me?
just
Like,
be
I kinda
quiet
get
while
it.
the game's going on? Ben?
Right.
How
Or the
about
people who
that?
are like, "I just watched the Super Bowl for the commercials."
Well, then go away for freaking 2 hours, come back for 30 minutes, and then go back in the other room. Like, leave me
Right.
alone. So that's what I'm thinking. Thank God Sandy has gotten into a little bit more football than she this season, and then we were doing the whole Saturday pick'em things, and that kind of fell through with scheduling and everything. So
We got to get her on though, like the Sunday morning spike or something, so we can get her pick for the Super Bowl.
if she can. So Tank says this one is going to be big since Prince. We all know how Alfredo feels about last year's show. I don't value Alfredo's opinions anymore because of that. Alfredo legitly said it was the worst. Last year, he said it was the worst halftime show he's ever seen. And I'm like, no, it wasn't. I thought it was pretty good. It was different.
Yeah.
He goes, and then he keeps bringing up that everyone had
It was the
jock
weekend
straps.
last year, right?
Yeah, he kept bringing up that everyone had jock straps on their faces. I'm like, they were masked because we were in the middle of a pandemic, and they made it seem like those weird
Right.
medical ones. But
I'm with Tank on this one. I'm with Tank. I enjoy it all. It's like a whole night event.
it is. It really is.
I take
And
it all in.
all right, thank you, freaking whatever. But yeah, so it's just different. You know, it the whole thing is an experience. The commercials, you know, the game obviously, and it's really good when it's neck and neck. Those are the good ones. And so far, we have been spoiled with so many good games this season, primetime games. Yet alone, I would hope that this game is exactly the same as we've been spoiled with these Monday nights and Thursday night games. How many? Like, I think it was the first 5 weeks that I was just blown off my couch every single time. Like, it was just exhausting. Like, I think I jumped up multiple times this season than I have at any other season. It was the most funnest season that I can remember in my 20 years of watching this sport. It's crazy.
Oh, I agree.
I love it. So,
and it's crazy for us to say something like that when both of our teams were not good.
I have put in my team in the back burner for a while, and I understand.
Oh, I have too. Trust me.
I completely understand. Here's what I think, and now that we're mentioning our teams, real quick before we end our show, okay, let's do this. I will say something about what your guys needs to do, and you say something about what you think we need to do.
Okay.
All right. So I'm gonna start off with you guys. I really hope that going into the draft, taking the 10th pick, 11th pick, right? Something like that. I think it's gonna be a QB. And I think you guys should take a QB. But I really hope, depending on what the combine shows us, I really hope that the hype of Malik Willis does not go so high up that you guys end up with Malik Willis. I don't think he's. Am I saying he's a good quarterback? He's probably one of the better ones, but I don't think that he will fit into Washington's system. I think you guys have a better system with potential Kenny Pickett or Matt Corral. I think they would fit better from what you guys have, because I don't think that a mobile quarterback or a somewhat of a decent arm quarterback who still needs time to reconstruct himself is a good fit for you guys. Now, with that, if you guys get Kenny Pickett, I think it would definitely boost up McLaurin. I mean, we saw what happened when you had pocket passers. McLaurin was just locked on with Fitzmagic, locked on with Taylor Heineke. I think that the pocket passer would be a lot better for Washington. Now, as for defense, now what do you guys have going in? So you have the 12th pick, and you also have your second pick, third, fourth, not the fifth.
Yeah.
I think if you guys get Matt Corral, would be an awesome fit. Secondly, Logan Thomas is not that young anymore. I think you guys should probably go in your second round, go get Trey McBride. And lastly, look, I think your defense is just fine. And I know you like freaking Dean, but I think that you guys should be getting offensive pieces with Matt Corral, Trey McBride, and get a receiver. What's his face from like third round? Jesus, I can't even think that far. Maybe
guy from Memphis.
No, I'm thinking deeper than that. I think that guy. No, Austin's going to be gone.
Really?
I think Austin's going to be gone. Yeah, I'm thinking the guy from Clemson. The other guy. Not Justin Ross or Watson. One of those guys. But that's
Deshaun Watson from Clemson? Okay.
No. Idiot.
Deshaun Watson went to Clemson, okay?
No. I know he went there. I'm talking about receiver. But that's my take on what I think on Washington is. And I don't know if you agree, disagree, or whatever.
So maybe we can suck for one more year and then get another good draft pick and that solid, really stacked draft, and then maybe we'll be good after that.
Well, apparently coaches are taking bribes now, so I don't know.
That's true. All right. Well, you want to know what the Falcons need to do?
All right. Hit me with it.
Arthur Blank needs to swallow his pride and realize his team needs to rebuild.
Yes!
He needs to blow it up. He needs to trade Matt Ryan. probably trade Ridley at this point. Start trading some of your bigger names, get draft picks, rebuild.
Get Deion Jones out of there too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like all these players aren't going to really be relevant by the time you have a chance to be good again. Like I think if starting next year, if you could get one of those quarterbacks in the draft, you'll be really on your way to being good again.
I think so.
But it starts with the management going, we need to blow this up. Like if
I
you
think
can be
so.
like the Jets or the Dolphins over the last couple of years and get like 3 or 4 picks in the top 40 next year, that could instantly turn your team around. You could get stars on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
And immediately start your upward trend. But until you go down, you're not going to go up. If that makes sense. You're just going to be stuck at this middle tier, not really good,
which we've been
not
doing,
really
right?
bad. Yeah.
No, and that's what we've been doing. I agree with what you said.
Matt Ryan's like 36, 37.
Right. I agree with that, and I think that maybe I agree and disagree. And then you can give me what you think of what I said about Washington after I say this, but I think Matt Ryan probably need to stay another year. Hopefully, if they're smart about it, they get a running back. Now, I've been saying that for years. You know, I don't know why they keep bringing up these banged up guys. If I swear to God, if James Conner end up in the freaking Falcons, I've lost hope. They need to stop bringing in these banged up running backs and come here and they just going off of what they did last season and their last contract. I think Matt Ryan should stay there and tough it out another season and wait for the next year's quarterbacks to come out. Because if you get this year's QBs, I don't think they're good enough. I don't think that these guys are going to be the next thing.
I said
is that what you said? I thought you said.
No, I said next. If you start building up pieces and you have 4 draft picks in the 2023 draft in the top 40, you can instantly turn your team around.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I was like, that draft is so stacked that you can get a quarterback, a receiver, 2 solid defensive pieces probably.
Yeah,
because it's so deep that like someone in the 2nd or 3rd round and next in 2023 draft would have probably been a 1st round pick in this draft.
No, yeah, for sure.
So I agree. Saying, like,
and to answer,
Braden wants to know who's going to trade for Matt Ryan.
To answer that question, I think the only possible person that would do it would be Shanahan in the Niners.
I would think that, or maybe if the Broncos don't get
but they would have to
Rodgers.
Trade for him. Well,
they have to trade for Rodgers too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like those two.
Matt Ryan's stuck where he's at. That contract mold, he's cemented himself there. So, all right. So what did you think about what I said about Washington?
Well, you already know where I stand when it comes to drafting a quarterback.
Well,
I don't want to do it. I feel like by the time they're good, half of the pieces we already have in place right now will be somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, I know we have cap space right now, but I was reading an article and they brought up some good points. They're saying we have $60 million in cap space, but if you try to sign one of these big name receivers, that'll take at least $20 million against the cap probably. If you want to get a Devontae Adams or someone of that caliber, then if you do that, now you're at 40, and now we have in the next 1 or 2 years, we have Deron Payne, Sweat, Kendall Fuller, 90% of our defenseless contracts will be up, and we're not going to be able to re-sign them all. So I'm by the time, if we and there's no guarantee that if you draft a quarterback, they'll be good either. I mean, our history is horrible when it comes to
well, that's what I'm saying. If you guys go all offensive pieces with the QB, tight end, and a receiver in the next 4 years of rookie contract, I think by that point, you would had some type of established offense by then and just focus on one side. If you guys go, like I said,
McLaren's another one. If we bring in Devontae Adams, then we can kiss McLaren goodbye because we don't have enough cap to keep both of them.
Oh, I don't think. Yeah, I don't think a big name guy is the answer to you guys. I think you guys need to.
Well, I'm just saying, like that's how, like, yeah, it seems like we have a lot of space in the cap, but technically, in this day and age, we really don't.
No,
Like
but
60 million, you're looking. I mean, that would be like if we get. I mean, I guess even if we bring in like Russell Wilson or somebody, that'll still take a big chunk of that too. So
like half of that crap.
yeah,
So, well, I mean, it is. We'll see what happens. I mean, I know in the next couple of weeks, I'm excited because free agency is going to open up. I think it's like March 7th. I think is the deadline. I'm not. Don't quote me on that, but I think there's a certain day where they can no longer franchise tag players, and then they just become open market free will everyone. So that's coming up here in the next couple of weeks after the big game. So I'm excited. It's my favorite time of the year, seeing who goes where. On top of that, the combine. So these next couple of months are fun for me. Just NFL perspective.
do you have any players on your dynasty team that are like free agents and can switch teams?
Michael Gallup.
Yeah, I have Juju, another receiver.
I have Michael Gallup, and that's about it. For the most part, I think I made moves at the first year in order to keep the team youngish.
Yeah, I got Juju, Smith-Schuster, and then I think I have Connor.
Yeah.
If it makes you feel any better, I also hope he doesn't go to the Falcons.
They're just so notorious for doing. They started with Michael Turner, okay. Then they did it with. Then they were smart about it and drafted a guy, got Freeman, and then they went back to their old ways and got Steven Jackson, freaking not Gordon, but
They drafted Coleman, then let him go, then brought him back.
yeah, no, what God, the other Rams guy, the guy that was good for 5 years, and Gurley.
Oh, Gurley. We brought in Jackson too at one point.
Yeah, it was Jackson, then it was Gurley, and then we brought in freaking Mike Davis. It's like, dude, the last time you were successful at a running back, you drafted him. How about we go back to that idea?
So by those standards, you're probably going to look at trying to bring in Sony Michel or Henderson or Akes.
Like I said, if James Conner ends up at the freaking Falcons, I'm done. I'm done.
I thought you would just go after one of the Rams quarterbacks.
I'm going to sign a letter of resignation that I'm no longer a fan.
I'm taking open interviews and applications.
Well, I think I'll easily switch over to Bills. I think that's how quick it'll be.
I can see that.
But no, look, I like the Falcons. As bad as they suck, they didn't even do that horrible. They still managed to get 6 or 7 wins, surprisingly.
The Bills are becoming one of the favorite teams in this house too. So.
Wait, look, we go see Primetime Josh.
We gotta go see Primetime Josh.
So, anyways, that's what we have in store for today. So, I think we will be back Sunday, and we'll be talking more in depth about the big game with the rest of the Nerd Huddle. So, any last words before we close this up?
Go Rams.
Go Rams. There it is. No Bengal action? None of
what
that?
do you think the final score is going to be?
Oh, dude.
The Simpsons called it like 10 years ago, 34-31.
Yeah.
Because, they have a time machine or something.
Dude, I don't know.
Dude, if it's 34-31, I'm calling. I'll bet they have a time machine. I quit. Simpsons just predicting everything.
Well, I mean, maybe we should start watching The Simpsons more.
Well, I watch The Simpsons all the time.
Well, yeah, but no, I'm just saying overall general public. So I'm gonna say, dude, I'm gonna say like something around that range too. 27-24, something like that.
Bengals, Rams. Who's winning?
Rams. I think it might be higher. I hope it's higher. I hope it's touchdown Palooza. That would be great. But,
although I would like to see McPherson get like 2 or 3 field goals. I think he's close to breaking the record for most field goals.
That freaking guy, man. That freaking guy. Rookie too.
I
can't
know.
believe- This is
He
the
had
same
that- he had
guy.
that one bad game against the Packers, and now he's like
Yeah,
the best.
this
freaking
is
kicker.
the same guy who kicked and had a preemptive celebration, turned
Yep.
around and they called it like, "Hey, you missed it." Like,
I
oh,
remember that. He was like, yeah. And I'm like, think you missed it. I guess he thought because it hit the orange flag, it was good. I don't know.
I don't know. But Tank says 31-27.
Yeah, I
so,
see it. Nice,
yeah,
nice.
yeah, for sure. All right, well, that's it. Tank, I'll see you Sunday and the rest of the Nerd Huddle as we dive more into each other's criticisms about this game and whatnot. And yeah, it's always fun on Sundays. There's always spike shots or bets and whatnot. So we'll see Brian again as well.
Do we have any bets that we need to collect on?
We do. Fredo still owes me his Jets.
Yeah. 8 wins.
Stupid. But that's Fredo for you. Anyways, that's it. So good morning, good evening, good night, wherever the hell you're at. This is Dynasty Pylon Show. My name is Martin. I'm here with Mark, and we will catch you on Sunday if Mark decides to show up.
I'll show up. Super
We'll
Bowl
see
Sunday,
when
man.
I'll believe when I see it. All right. Have a good day, everybody.
Getting hyped when I aim up. Elevating that game up. Stepping up to the competition. Only first place, and that's how I'm living. I'm winning till they digging up my grave. Eating all the things up on my plate. Game face when I step up into place. I was born and when I watched me elevate. I was born and when I watched me elevate.